Lions TV post-match analysis of the game that finished yesterday. Watford 1, Millwall 2. Look, I think we were. I want to start off just talking about the game against Bristol City before we go any further, because a lot of people were going, well, that's it, we're dead, that's it, we're done. The players ain't interested. There's obviously something really badly going wrong. I want to throw this out there. Obviously, what's happened with Roberts is something that's probably affected the whole team, by the way. Them concentrating on having to wrap themselves around them a little bit, you know, making sure that he's all right. But also, this team has just come off of, most of the team that started against Bristol City had just played 85 to 90 minutes with 10 men against a Premier League informed side of Crystal Palace. And I think that when you need a, usually they say that it's 2 days when you start feeling it, isn't it? So, you know, a day of rest, then a day of recovery. There's not going to be, would have been much training involved in that. And I think that Bristol City, that when you look at it as a whole, it's a game that you've probably just got to take on the chin and maybe go, do you know what? We were playing a team that are now 6th in the table, I think, or they were in and around it, definitely. And we only lost 2-0 to them. I think that shows credit to the boys, to be honest. But look, we did start the way we finished against Bristol City, though. The first half was abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. I say this quite often, and I'll say it again, and there's a lot of people that were saying it in the terraces yesterday, but how Honeyman gets a start in this team over some of our players, we'll just never know. It really does look like Honeyman does what he wants when he's on a football pitch. He was playing right wing. He spent most of his time in the middle. This sounds awful, and I hate to say this because people are going to argue with me about this, but he's lazy. He puts the hard work in, and he visibly puts the hard work in to get back, you know, or you know, to get into a position to score. However, if you actually watch him when he starts having to mark people, or actually have any type of sense of direction in ways of football, he's lazy. That right-hand side was covered only by Kramer in the first half, and I thought that Kramer, whatever his name is, done an incredible job. Honeyman was missing, absolutely missing. Another player that I thought was missing in the first half was Kundal. I think other than his first game, again, somebody that seems really out of position. I mean, I was watching the game and we're running down the right side. Well, Kramer's running down the right side, or we're trying to play out, and Kundal's all the way over on the left with a Maku. Now, I don't know whether that's a tactic, but if it was a tactic, it weren't working. All I watched in the first half was players just backing off. You had a situation where Lucas Jensen, there was a shot by their number 8 who caused us all sorts of problems. Did when he was at home, when we played him at home, by the way. We should have learned from that. But he had a shot. Lucas Jensen's parried it out into the middle of the box, which he shouldn't be doing. And I'll get on to Jensen because he made an incredible save. But he parried it out into a dangerous area, and we were quite lucky that it didn't go to a Watford player. Going on to their goal, I've watched this back, by the way, and at first you're going, why ain't no one marking him at the back post? You know, simple maths, simple logic. There's a good video of it right behind the goal, and if you look, it is absolutely mastered to perfection. Absolutely mastered to perfection, that goal. It's actually a really well worked corner, and there can't be any arguments with it, to be honest. It really is a well worked corner. So listen, we go in 1-0 down. There's another thing based on Honeyman again. You know, I'm sorry to keep digging him out. And I was one, by the way, that said I'd rather have Honeyman start than Bangura Williams, because I think Bangura Williams would be better as an impact player, which proves that I was right. However, I would still rather have somebody other than Honeyman play there. I just don't think Bangura's up to starting and playing full 90 minutes for Millwall Football Club yet at the moment. Anyway, Honeyman chased down, managed to put his toe in front of the ball. All he's got to do in that situation is get his head over the ball and hit it as low and as hard as possible, and hope that it either goes in or the keeper saves it, and there's a chance for us to, you know, get a deflection, whatever it is. But he just seems to wait an age to make a decision. And this is something I tell my under-12s team: just make a decision. You know, go with it. Listen, if you get it wrong, then no problem at all. But make a decision, and he didn't in that situation, and that ended up costing us in the end. And we ended up going into the first half, at the end of the first half, 1-0 down. Second half looked 10 times better. Now, I don't know what people's thought process. I didn't think that there was going to need to be much of a change. And the only change that we really needed to do was to press them. Because in the first half, we were sitting back. We were letting them do their own thing. And in the end, in the second half, like we have become now, Millwall second half team, we started pressing the fullbacks, pressing the defenders, pressing the goalkeeper, and then that's when they started making mistakes, and that's when we started playing more over to the left-hand side, which is what we should have done in the first half. The more we played over on the left-hand side, the more threatening we looked, with Joe Bryan and Amaku, who, by the way, I'm really happy got his start. I don't think he had much to do, but when he did have time to shine, I think he done well to a point. Someone's going to have to answer this in the comments though, but because I'm starting to get really confused. I'm absolutely adamant that Amaku is a right-footed player, but based on the fact that I only ever see him cross balls with his left foot, and he plays on the left-hand side, I'm doubting myself a little bit here. So if there's any, if anyone knows the answer, I'm pretty sure he's right-footed, but I could be completely wrong. So we get Adamo Amaku. He puts the ball into Casper Denor. Casper Denor calmly slots it into the other side of the goal. It's a great finish, by the way. Absolutely great finish. And we're on them. You know, we're on fire now. Kramer puts a ball into the box. Josh Coburn gets. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't rate Coburn that much, to be honest. And I think the last couple of games, I think he's looked really lazy. I think he gets out-muscled. I don't think he wants to put a challenge in. However, what we have noticed is that he seems to usually be in the right position. And if you put the ball to his feet or to his head, he has got an eye for goal. It's really difficult for me with Coburn because I'll watch him for 90 minutes and think he's had an absolute howler. However, when you go and score a goal like that, it's difficult to not say, yeah, fair play, good goal. So, yeah, Kramer puts the ball into the box, onto Coburn's head, and it's a fantastic looping header. That really is a good finish, good reactive finish, and I can't moan at that. However, Coburn, I'm going to say this, for the rest of the 90 minutes, I think you've done nothing. And I was screaming out for the big Serb to come on and start getting some more minutes. Listen, I know that there's probably a little bit of a difference there, but the big Serb's our player. We need to be giving him minutes. And I know that Alex Neil's come out and said we'd like to have Josh Coburn next season. But I'd be saying that as a manager as well if I'm not giving my one of my record signing players minutes and we're giving a loan player minutes. I'd be saying that we want him next season as well to keep the fans quiet. So good job. What I will say, big shout out to Lucas Jensen. I am also one person that one thinks Liam Roberts is a better goalkeeper than him, and two thinks that Lucas Jensen isn't a great goalkeeper. But what we are finding out now with Lucas Jensen is that he can do the hard things really, really well. And there's a cross that comes in. I'm pretty sure it's right in front of me, and I can't really tell. It's that quick from the replays, but I'm pretty sure it comes off the back of Cooper's head. And it's going top corner, and the reactionary save that he's made there is world class. It's a really, really good save. It doesn't mean that I would have him in the sticks. I'd still have Liam Roberts in the sticks if I had a choice and all that. But for all the stick that Lucas Jensen gets when he does something right, you have to give him praise for it, and I congratulate him for that. Another person that I'm not set on. and I think most of the time doesn't play that well, is Jake Cooper. But I think that Jake Cooper was absolutely incredible yesterday. Absolutely incredible. Aerial battles, they played to his strengths. So there was a lot of aerial battles there, a lot of crosses into the box, which obviously is great. And I'll be honest, I think Jake Cooper made Tanganga look average yesterday, which is a big feat on its own. So well done, Juicy Jake. But look, overall, we've gone and got 3 points. I think it's one of the first times this season that we've come from behind as well. After having a really difficult game at Palace and a really difficult game against Bristol City, we've got some lead back in us now. And let's go to the next game. Let's go to Leeds away and let's try and get something out of it. It's not impossible, boys. We've already done it before. And let's keep pushing up that table and see where it brings us. If it brings us nothing, it brings us nothing. We push on to next season. But I'll tell you what, boys, we go and beat Leeds on Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. Then all of a sudden, I'm going to start getting a little bit excited. On to the next one. Come on, you Lions.